A Super Bowl champion.
The Green Bay Packers have won the Super Bowl.
The Packers' all-time leading scorer.
A game winner for Mason Crosby.
It's time for the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Nellis on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook and on the free Odyssey app.
It is the Mason Crosby Show, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Tommy Wirtz in for Mitch Thunder Nellis. It is high noon. Thank you, Crosby.
Yeah, don't mess that one up.
Didn't want to forget that. And we are, of course, joined with the Packers' all-time leading scorer, Mr. Mason Crosby. How we doing, Mace?
Interesting. It's I'm in an interesting spot. Coming off Easter, getting the kids back in school. I don't know how everyone feels. I'm sure you feel similar. I'm having Easter ham leftovers, which are pretty awesome. A little Hawaiian roll, some mustard. Not feeling too upset about that, but still dealing with Molly's injury stuff. Looking like surgery is imminent. Figuring that out, chasing kids around. I'm thinking, for the next 6 to 8 weeks, I'm on duty. It's Mason at the helm, dad time in full effect. Taking over for Mama Bear is going to be a tough task.
This is your Super Bowl of dad life right here.
It is. Yes. Yeah. I think that's a good way to put it. Yes. I'm in the NFC Championship right now. And once that surgery happens, I guess you call it a win. For me, I'm stepping up. I got to step up and go big.
Keep it at 2011. Stay away from 2014. All right. On the vibes.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's what we're going for. What'd you guys do for Easter? What'd you have going on?
Let's see. We had my brother was in town, and we were just having fun with kids, chasing them around. We got a trampoline, so kids jumping around on the trampoline. It cooled off a little bit. We were honestly hoping they were going to be able to jump in the pool this weekend, but just not quite there. So we had some fun, went to church. Molly's parents came over. Like I said, I put a ham in the oven and had all the fixins and all the stuff. Molly and her mom make a mean cheesecake. I don't know if there are any cheesecake fans out there. If there are, let me know. Maybe Molly will send you the recipe at some point. But they make it from scratch. And then, the cherry pie filling on top and whipped cream. Oh, it's delightful. Old you, Tommy, would have really liked it.
Old me. I snuck a brownie this weekend.
Okay. What'd you do? Did you do, you didn't do Easter with the girl, did you?
Oh, yeah, dude. I went out to Walworth. I went out there. I went to church as well on Sunday, which first time in couple years since 2016. I've been to church 3 times. One of them was a baptism for my niece, and then the other 2 times was at a baseball stadium because it was church night at the baseball stadium out in Minnesota. So I went to and I remember, so I was growing up going every Sunday until probably age 10, 12 in that range somewhere. And I went to old traditional Catholic church. Yeah. And then the other churches in between there was all rock band at church kind of vibes.
Nice.
And this was back to old traditional. So it kind of gave me a little bit of nostalgia. But yeah, I went out. I spent the weekend out there. I helped out on Saturday. I helped out clean up on Sunday.
Man.
It was a whole, I was a part of Easter.
I'll be just checking the mail for that save the date.
Let's relax just a little bit. All right. My parents listen. They're gonna just blow my phone up here on the other side.
I'm here for chaos. That's what I'm all about.
That is exactly what you're here for. It is the Mason Crosby Show. Hope everyone had a great Easter and a fantastic weekend. Now back here on a Monday to get things back rolling. Speedy recovery out to Molly, of course, for the week too. The Milwaukee Brewers. I know there's all this Giannis drama. We're gonna push it back as far as we want to because. Yes, a breakup seems evident at this point, but it has 4 or 5 times now at this rate with the Milwaukee Bucks. So we're gonna bring some positivity back on a Monday and talk some Brewers baseball because another great weekend in Kansas City. They had the game rained out on Friday, which sucks because you had back-to-back days no Brewers baseball. but 2 games in one day is always something special as well with the doubleheader. And the Brewers win on Sunday on Easter. Take 2 in Kansas City. They keep rolling now, Mace.
Yeah, I mean, you can be excited about it, but I'm not thrilled. Bryce Durang broke his hit streak, so pretty upset about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm concerned about this team at times. Like giving up 8 runs and only scoring 2 in in a doubleheader game. Like, what is going on?
One loss. They are, they are one of the best records in baseball right now at 7-2.
I say all that tongue in cheek. This team is special. It's fun to watch. They are up there with the Yankees, are the only other team with only 2 losses. So I guess Dodgers only have 2 losses, and we don't even count the Dodgers anymore. We just expect them to do their thing. But yeah, this team is they're special. They find ways to win different, in like any way possible. They're doing what they did well last year, but I think they've added a little power to their batting, which is going to be exciting down the stretch here.
Yeah, guys like Gary Sanchez coming up big.
Now Gary Sanchez will try to add on. 3-2. Deep and a left. Gary Sanchez way up, way out. Goodbye. The Kraken unleashes his 3rd home run in the first 3 series of the season. And the Brewers strike for 3 with 2 out of the first.
I mean, bringing just Gary Sanchez in that call via Brewers TV, of course, too. He's had a fantastic start with the power stretch. He gives an off day to William Contreras whenever he needs it, too. And the Brewers even coming up big again with some insurance runs later on, courtesy of my guy.
Into right center field, Jake Bauers delivers a huge RBI base hit. He's trying for second. Throw coming through, not in time. 7-5 Milwaukee in the 9th. Consecutive doubles from Yelich and Bauers.
Bauers rakes. Rake Powers, as some people are calling them there too.
Rake Powers.
But I think another headline to look at from this weekend is Kyle Harrison, 5 1/3, 2 runs, 6 strikeouts in the outing on Sunday. He looks great in his first 2 starts here. Brandon Sproat, a little bit more uncertainty, but now we get into Boston this week, and you get Caleb Durbin, who's been struggling. The Brewers, again, I told you, there's something about David Hamilton I really like, a part of his game. He's just such a Brewer. He did his part over the weekend, getting a couple of hits and stealing some bases as well along the way.
Garrett Mitchell, right? I mean, Garrett Mitchell is kind of becoming a guy, right? I mean, he's looking good. What did I see? Is he like, what was the stat that he was tied for? Was it most RBIs?
Yeah, I believe he was second in the National League going into yesterday with the big weekend or the big day on Saturday. He had a 5 RBI day.
5 RBI and 2 at bats.
Took another one later on that night. Garrett Mitchell is a huge piece that everyone's looking at during this stretch right now too, because on top of the injury to Churio, it is a little bit of a tryout period, it feels like, for some of these guys on playing time, right? Is Churio going to come back and play center field? I don't know. Is he going to come back and play left field? Then that leaves a spot open for a guy like Garrett Mitchell. Or are they going to value Jake Bauers' bat in there at a stretch during this time? It's all good problems to have.
But tell me, Tommy, if Garrett Mitchell continues at the rate he's playing at, like all around, can you sit him down when Churio comes back? Like, I mean, I don't know if he can.
No, I think as of today, they would want to give Garrett Mitchell his shot. But at the end of this, also, it's going to come down to pop, right? I mean, there is a brand that Garrett Mitchell fits a lot better into this Brewers baseball team, but it is also something we're looking and keeping an eye out for on A, if Garrett Mitchell can stay healthy, and B, if he can stay consistent during his healthy stretches too. Jake Bauers in the same boat. This is the most consistent ball he's played ever in a Brewers uniform to this point, and they need to decide in that stretch. Now, the Brewers have found a way with a lot of makeshift lineups again. Every day I got to listen to Sparky be like, this lineup, what's going on with this lineup today? It's what the Brewers have been piecing together for over a year now that has worked out successfully, and it helped again with another weekend in Kansas City. And on top of it, the Brewers defense continuing to play a big part.
I was hoping you'd play this.
How about Luis Matos in his first game as a Brewer?
And now he lines a base hit. Around third comes Witt. They got a shot. Matos throw to the plate. Strong. He is out at home. Welcome to the Brewers, Luis Matos.
Which one were you hoping for?
Maybe it was. I think this was the one with old Bill throwing to Rang and then getting him out at home.
Yeah, that was a great one.
I love that play. I mean, it's just like basically like there was really no hope of getting the guy at second, but it baited the guy to come home, and then they sneak and get him out there.
Yeah, William Contreras continuing to play his role as a point guard, if you will, of the defense. The Brewers this whole weekend, a lot of fun to watch, and yesterday even so. The Walworth, her side over there is all Cubs fans, right? That is what it is. However, yesterday, because I was the guest, the Brewer game got the priority on the TV with 6 Cubs fans, and all we were doing was watching the Brewer game. But it worked out because they won, and I got to be happy at the end of it and watch all of the game.
Are they
yesterday.
Bears fans too?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I know.
I don't know about this anymore.
Right. You're out here trying to get me to do things, and I got, I'm just. We're
just have fun for a time here. Yeah, you're good. I mean, I don't know if that's gonna work out, but
but great. Just digging the hole. Let's get out of it. All right. Brewers taking on the Boston Red Sox now over the next 3 days. Leadoff show today at 4:30 to get you ready for game 1. There will be no post game because of some coverage happening with previously agreed to in Milwaukee. So post game and pregame will return tomorrow. There will be leadoff show today, however, as we get you ready for Brewers Red Sox game 1. Pitching today for the Brewers, if I'm not mistaken, it is Brandon Woodruff on the bump today. Yes, Woodruff versus Brian Bayo. And now maybe another topic of discussion with talking about these Milwaukee Brewers, Mason. Now we get to see Woodruff again after he got his first outing. Looked pretty good. Let's see how he can respond back from having to go out and now pitch every 5 days to this point.
Yeah, do you like him kind of starting the series off against Boston, especially with, I mean, they've kind of been struggling at the plate, right? So, I mean, might be a good opportunity for him to kind of get right and have a good outing here, get this series kicked off on the right foot. I mean, are we just thinking like this Brewers team should win almost every series that they go into? I mean, like I'm thinking sweep, but I mean, maybe just if they get 2 out of 3 in most series, I'll feel happy about that.
Well, that's always the goal in baseball. You just want to win series. 2 out of 3 ain't bad in baseball, but Boston, I think it's a weird park to pitch in if you're not pitching there as frequently, because obviously you have the short left field that has the giant green monster. So a lot of doubles happening there. And then in right field, also short, and it's a short porch on top of it. But pretty deep center field that it sometimes is a weird park to pitch in during this stretch. But I think this Brewers team, there should be no reason why you shouldn't think to be favored to win the series when you got Woodruff and Miz going back to back. It's kind of, even though Miz is the ace, you set it up where Woodruff still pitches before Miz, right? So you get a nice little 2 stretch there.
You had to they had to consider that as they were setting this up, right? It's like, all right, we'll get Miz opening day, but then there will be these moments where we go into these series and like Woodruff actually starts us off and then Miz comes in. Because I mean, what like 2 different styles of pitching right now, right? Woodruff is going to try to paint the corners, do his stuff, or like work these batters around, and Miz is going to come at you and hit you in the mouth with his heat and all his his sinker and his slider. I love all like the pitches that he's got in his repertoire now. But I think going to Fenway, this Brewers team, like the bats, I mean, how many doubles are they going to have? Ooh. I mean, probably like 8 a game. I mean, it's just like everybody hits doubles on this team.
The over under for Bryce Trang 2.5 in the series. What if we?
Yeah, exactly.
That should be the way.
I for sure put him at 2.5.
Well, that game starting 5:45 today. Brewers TV. We had a whole Apple TV conversation, and it didn't even matter during the last show because the game getting rained out forced it back over to
Right.
Brewers TV. So if you were
waste of our energy,
if you signed up for the free trial, you got screwed. If you were stubborn and you didn't, now you can do it for the one game in June. That'll matter, and get the free trial. Still not miss any Brewers baseball. So
there you go.
Congratulations on holding out if that worked. I want to get to our next guest because he's going to be on the golf course. So we're going to get him a tee time set up all nicely. Our guy over at Channel 3000 in Madison, Andrew Bandstra, going to join us because some other big news today revolving around Wisconsin basketball. John Blackwell saying his farewell to the Wisconsin Badgers. Mitch Nellis just popped in too. Maybe we'll get his thoughts on the other side as we take our first break here. It is the Mason Crosby Show. We are live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. It is the Mason Crosby Show. Tommy Wirtz in for Mitch Thunder Nellis. However, Mitch Nellis is taking advantage of video purposes, jumping in just to say hi. Hey, what's going on, Mitch? Where you at right now?
We are just north of Indianapolis. What up, Tommy? What up, Mace? Happy Easter to everybody. I'm sure my audio quality is horrible and my video is beautiful because I am beautiful. But I just wanted to say hi to everybody.
This almost sounds like an old school, like NASA, like spaceship recording. I'm like, coming from
Mitch is actually coming from Artemis 2 here. That's where Mitch is coming from.
Nice.
Yeah, and I can't poop. There's no toilets. The toilets are broken.
Goodness.
How far until you're home, Mitch?
About 4 hours, a little bit less than 4 hours. So we're getting there. We're moving. Left 30A yesterday after lunch. Stayed in Cave City, Kentucky, which is where the huge caves are, and
Nice.
Mammoth Cave. We didn't do Mammoth Cave this time, but we're on our way back. And I got to tell you, man, these Brewers are fun to watch. We had the whole family watching around the TV this weekend in Florida, and they're big Braves fans, so they're excited because the Braves have started up pretty well. But everybody's on board, rooting on the Brewers as well. They're just fun to watch.
Heck yeah, they are. Did you find any other Brewer fans down there? I know you said you had run into some other Wisconsinites. Like, did y'all just kind of form this whole group and just crush all the Brewers? Actually, I mean, Saturday had to be the best day ever. Just hanging around the beach, watching Brewers play a couple games.
Saturday was packed on the beach, no doubt about it. I ran into people who were staying around the corner from Sussex and from Brookfield. We were walking onto the beach yesterday. A couple of people had Brewers gear on. They're from Cedarburg. So, like, everywhere we went, there were people wearing Milwaukee stuff, Brewer stuff, Packers stuff. Not as much Buck stuff on this trip, I got to be honest. But it was fun to see a lot of Brewers gear on 30A, in Seaside, on the beach, as it should be.
Absolutely. Mitch, we got to get to a guest here. We're going to talk John Blackwell. It sure sounds like that's about to come to an end. Any thoughts on that before we let you go?
No, just remember he did this last year, so he's testing the waters, NBA and transfer portal. I think there's a good chance he does get paid by somebody else more than what he's going to get paid. But I do wonder if the Badgers might look to match based on how good he was this year, or if he just turns pro. I'm not upset about it yet, but I'm sure when the news is that he's gone. Little Rumble poking her head in from the back seat, getting some airtime. There's Big Rumble doing her thing. Have a great show, guys. Thanks so much for letting me jump on. I can't wait to see you soon. And Mason, as always, after today, you better hit him straight.
Always trying, man. I'm watching Masters highlights. I'm getting ready. The U.S. Amateur, the women's amateur, just wrapped up at the Masters at Augusta. So the juices are flowing. This is that's going to be a good week.
Awesome. Have a great show, you guys, and I'll catch up with you soon. And go Crew.
There he is, Mitch Thunder Nellis, joining us on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. And now moving over to another guest, Andrew Bandstra, Channel 3000, joining the Mason Crosby Show. Mason, if you need advice on how to hit him straight, Andrew is golfing today. If you are looking into anything, calling us from the first tee box quite yet, or no?
Yeah, just about, but I would definitely say do not take my advice on that. I would be the last person you'd want to hear from. Thanks so much for having me on, guys. Always a blast.
Heck yeah. Where are you playing today?
Over at a place in Madison called the Bridges. Not my favorite spot, but it's kind of cold out today, so we figured we'd bite the bullet, get around in, and have some fun.
Hey, April 6th in Wisconsin, playing some golf.
Oh, yeah.
Like, all right, I'm excited. Yeah. That's exciting. Okay.
Way ahead of the game on that, for sure. Andrew Bandstra over at Channel 3000, sports director. Now, I don't want to forget that part there either. We always tend to get you on when there's some news over in Madison. We'll talk some Brewers, maybe some Bucks a little bit along the ways, but the big storylines out of the university. John Blackwell entering the portal. I know it is similar to it was similar last year where he did this portal and test the waters of the NBA, but he'll be a 5-star transfer prospect he's going to catch a bag from some of this big university, wherever in college basketball. Your first thoughts, Andrew, after you heard the news?
Yeah, my first thoughts were exactly what you just said. He did this last year, said he was entering the portal, so on and so forth. But then when he put out his statement saying verbatim, I want to share that I won't be returning to play for the Badgers next season, that's when I was like, okay, he's moving on. And my first instinct was a conversation I had with him before this season. And I asked him, after last year, he was presumably going to be the guy, and Sanjay ended up being the guy. And before this year, I said to him, is this your team? And he said, yeah, absolutely. It is my team. And it really kind of wasn't. It was Nick Boyd's team. So to me, I wonder if the combination of not getting as far as they should have and him not being the guy, whether that's, Greg Gard's fault or not, probably, you could argue he just didn't quite step up enough. But nonetheless, those were my initial first thoughts. I think he wants to go somewhere else.
Man, yeah, that's tough. And, I'm curious how you would feel, and like listeners out there, how would you feel if he went somewhere else versus going to the NBA? I feel like if someone goes to the NBA, everyone's kind of like, okay, that's the next progression step. But now it feels like in college sports, that's not the next step. It's like you go in the transfer portal, you're almost like trying to force the hand of the team that you were on, or go into free agency and see what else is out there. So for me personally, yeah, if he goes and plays for another team outside of Wisconsin, outside the Badgers, that definitely hurts a lot more than him going to the NBA.
Totally. And the thing about John Blackwell is he was always the anomaly in the era of the transfer portal, and that, he was an under-recruited guy. Greg Gard was his only high Division I offer, and he stuck with Gard all the way throughout. He was super loyal to that. And to me, he always felt like the anomaly in the transfer portal era, a guy that had a chip on his shoulder from his recruiting days and just wasn't going to leave. And he made that pretty abundantly clear that he wasn't going to leave, that, he was a Badger. But, I think back to a guy like Chuck Hepburn in his last press conference of his junior year, he points to a Badger tattoo on his arm and he says, this is my life. I'm a Badger for life. And 2 weeks later, he's with Pat Kelsey in Louisville. So, this is college basketball today. It's unfortunately the landscape we live in.
Well, yeah, and let's talk about that landscape a little bit because the finals are set, the Final Four. I guess there was one good game. Michigan looked unbelievable. That was a bit of a surprise, but they seem special. What do you think? What do you think of this final coming up in the tournament here?
Well, my first thought is connecting it to Wisconsin, and that the Badgers, of course, beat Michigan back in January, right. Almost had them in the Big Ten tournament, and it makes you think what could have been. But with that being said, I think it's going to be a great game. I think it's, to me, two of the best coaches. You Tom Izzo's of the world. You may be putting that older generation that are still the absolute elite coaches, but in terms of the guys that are going to, own college basketball for the next 10 or 15 years, to me, it's guys like Dusty May and guys very much like Dan Hurley. So I think it's exciting. I think it's a preview of what's to come. And it's also kind of a precursor of college basketball. These are two teams that went out and got all the best guys in the portal they possibly could. And, it's certainly paid off for them. It's going to be fun to watch, though. You'd like to see Michigan win for the Big Ten aspect of it. But either way, I do think it's hopefully going to be a closer game than that Michigan-Arizona game was.
For sure. We got Andrew Bandstra joining us from the golf course. Jealous over here, Channel 3000 in Madison. Let's talk a little bit about what this Brew Crew did over the weekend to their start. Just want to hear your take on, are you surprised, or was this kind of what you expected from this team from what they did last year?
Yeah, at this point, it's hard to be surprised about anything that the Brewers do when it comes to success. I think Pat Murphy is just that guy. He finds ways to keep his guys hungry while also having fun. I mean, we all saw this turtle tortoise situation, the new evolution of the pocket pancake. But, to me, I think that it isn't a surprise. I think that they're always going to compete. I think they're going to be another fantastic regular season team. My hope is that this year it translates to the playoffs. Obviously, we're looking way ahead. Here we are. They're 7-2, so we're more than 150 games, 153 games away from that. But, nonetheless, I think they're off to an awesome start. They're so much fun to watch. And to me, they're watching, this is why you develop guys. Bryce Terang is turning into a superstar in terms of Isaac.
Yeah, I get you. Andrew Bandstra joining us. One more thing before we get you out of here. How much more Giannis conversation are we going to have on these airwaves before he's finally traded, Andrew?
Yeah, I think it's a sad time for basketball in the state of Wisconsin. John Blackwell leaves. Obviously, Giannis is 10 tiers above that in him potentially leaving. It feels like the end of the end. And the way it's ending feels like the return they're going to get on Giannis is going to be diminished, because now it seems like he probably does want to leave. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be months rather than, years. Certainly, it feels like this is the end of the end, and it's sad. They didn't make it out of the first round. If I have that right, I don't think they made it out of the first round after, winning that title in 21. So,
yeah.
Do you think, Andrew, that's like a real thing with a quality player, a world-class, elite international player like Giannis? Does it change that trade structure and that price if he's wanting out versus if he was kind of just traded without his consent, like if he was happy in Milwaukee?
I think that maybe it adjusts it a little bit just because the pressure's on. Theoretically, they could, if both parties were happy, just kind of, seeing what happens, maybe the price is a little bit higher. But if he kind of pushes that button, to me at least, maybe it amps up the sweepstakes and teams go as high as they possibly can. But there's a part of me that's kind of like, well, if they have to make that deal, maybe that diminishes the asset just a little bit.
No, that totally makes sense. Yeah, I hadn't actually totally thought of it that way, because I'm like, he's a world-class player. Like Bucks, in my mind, I'm like, you don't get rid of a player like that unless you get at least close to what you're hoping for.
Absolutely. It's a sad time, and the question is, where do the Bucks go from here? We've watched them, these last couple of weeks. They looked like a college basketball team. Where do they go from here? I guess you tank and hope for a good draft pick over the next couple of years, but getting another Giannis it seems far-fetched.
Yeah,
for sure.
Andrew, thanks so much. Go hit him straight while you're out there, all right?
No promises. I'll do my best. Thanks so much, guys.
There he is.
Enjoy.
Andrew Bandstra, Channel 3000 in Madison, joining us on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. We were kind of pressed up against time for him. But, Mason, I have one more thing before we get to the break that I just want to bring up with this Badgers and John Blackwell situation. Do you think that it's kind of the word is, the only word I can think of is dumb, but I just would rather have a better word for it.
Yeah, but you went to Madison. So
do you think it's dumb that the Wisconsin Badgers can't keep up with prices the rest of college basketball can keep up with, if that is really the case? If they have a guy that they love, that has been in their system for a long time, a massive university like the University of Wisconsin is going to lose very good quality cornerstone pieces, and they can't keep up with the rest of it like the rest of the league can be. And I know they're not a blue blood by any means, but this is not a poor university, and I will not let them convince you otherwise.
I see this a little different. I think Bandstra talked about it, slightly, is, Blackwell was the guy, but they brought in Nick Boyd. And I felt like in that tournament against High Point, that was Nick Boyd trying to win that game. They didn't give it over to John Blackwell to go and win that game. Nick Boyd had the ball at the end of the game. He had the ball in critical situations. So this could be more about, I'm frustrated. I stayed another year. I'm the guy, and I just don't feel, appreciated that way. You go in the transfer portal, Wisconsin will have a chance to throw some offer at him, but it seems like he's moved on. And I guess in this day and age, it's his right to go and get more money and go and try to chase a championship, or go try to, be part of a different type of program than maybe what he thought he was signing up for there at Wisconsin. So they're obviously willing to give money to guys, but if you go into that transfer portal and someone throws something ridiculous, you have to think long term and how do you build a team there in Wisconsin to go and try to compete. And if they're throwing ridiculous numbers at each guy, then you're just going to kind of be out of luck there.
Early rankings right now, the 24/7 does have them updated with the initial transfer portal opening for college basketball. John Blackwell listed as the number 2 prospect in all of college basketball in the portal right now. So I'm sure his market will be high.
Do you think the Badgers should pay him what he would pull from anywhere else? Like, I mean, it's just like free agency. Like some guys go and test free agency in NFL and like different, in basketball, all those things. Like sometimes a team with more funds and they're looking to do like they're going to throw a ridiculous number. Carolina Panthers did it this year, right?
Right.
With Phillips and that other linebacker. It's like they just gave a better offer. It's like sometimes you just have to follow where the money is.
I think the Badgers should be able to spend however much money they want to spend. That's what I think. I think they should have the funds allocated.
I mean, that makes sense. Yeah.
The funds allocated to if they really like John Blackwell can be here. If they lose John Blackwell because they do not want him, that should be the only reason. Then they should be allocating the funds in order to pay a guy like John Blackwell to build the rest of the roster as well. Then whether that is going out and getting another guy who demands a high price tag or building a roster configured of guys who add up to a price tag of John Blackwell, they should be spending the amount of money that any other top program because I know they can.
So what do you think of like that, the 7'9" guy from Florida, the freshman?
Yeah,
what do you think of them losing him? Like, why would he go somewhere? Like, that's Florida. You would think that they would have a surplus of cash to throw at players, but you would think a guy 7'9", even if he didn't play a lot as a freshman, like that's somebody that you'd want to pay to keep around.
Yeah, I also think that we're in a day and age in college basketball where if you are a freshman and you're still legit, you're going to be playing. I think that maybe there's another fit for Olivier Roux as somewhere else outside of Florida, but ultimately I think Florida decided
that's a good point.
You're not going to be a part of our plan.
And we couldn't utilize you. Like,
yes,
yeah,
exactly.
I guess we're moving on. Yeah, we're moving on as well.
I don't know. I think we got Ram on the north side. I didn't scream it. Who's is that you, Ram?
It sure is.
Yeah, I know the caller ID by now. Yeah. I got it. What do you got here? Nicolay Law talking text line 41.
You guys doing a good job. I like your show content. I just think the transfer portal is just like NBA and college NFL free agency.
Yeah, but NBA free agency doesn't even exist anymore. You just sign your Supermax and get traded. It's like it's a whole new free agency again.
Well, I say this about I think in college football and basketball is a little different because, you can always find a diamond in the rough, like a kid who probably doesn't play a lot of AAU, but he's really, really good, and he only gets one offer. And then he shines that one season. Because I'm thinking in college basketball, if you make first team, all conference, and scoring, the colleges are coming looking.
Yeah.
Because if you can play good at one level, you can play good at another level. Because those guys compete against some of these top guys. But since they're not in certain markets, just like a kid from Utah, he could be a straight-up killer. And you put him in Washington, D.C., he's still performing. Because like Mason said, if you can play, you can play. You can't. That's just something that's inside of the individual. So, but my thing with the Badgers, I think they need to focus more on getting 3s and 4s. They need killer in the paint type players, like to go to this next level. Like if they,
I agree. I think they need to go after some bigger, like big guys to kind of get
like the guy
into that scrappy basketball. Yeah, exactly.
Lundenberg and the one from Arizona. I'm talking about like a 4 guy that wants to be in the paint that doesn't want to stand out there and shoot 3s because. Yeah, you got to have some length, but you got to get some scoring too, because I think sometimes they rely on the 3 a little bit too much. And it's only one Steph Curry and one KD, until we see something different. So,
yeah, Ram,
that's my take on that.
Thanks for the call, Ram.
Yep.
There he is, Ram on the north side of Milwaukee. You can join too on the Nicolay Law talking text line 414-677-1250 if you want to be a part of any of the conversation. We will get to some Giannis talk on the other side. Have some time to do it. It is the Mason Crosby Show. Packers all-time leading scorer here. Tommy Wordson for Mitch Thunder Nellis. We'll be right back after this. Mason Crosby Show, Wisconsin Sports Radio Network Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. This pops up in the random rotation an awful lot. I will say that. Feels like this has been randomly popping in way more. Welcome back. The Mason Crosby Show. Mitch Thunder Nellis out today. Tommy Wirtz in for him. Mason Crosby here as well. And we've been avoiding the conversation. We got Dusty Evely coming up. I want to bring up an idea of, can Dexter Lawrence be a Packer? That coming up on the other side of the 1 o'clock hour. But Giannis, all signs now pointing to even more so that this divorce is evident with some of the league investigation going on last week in regards to the Bucks and tanking situations. Sounds like the Bucks had a protocol that they don't think Giannis was all following all that much to try to get returned back to the Milwaukee Bucks team. And now they're, of course, still just not playing him at this point.
Whose side are you on, Tommy? Whose side are you on this?
I think Giannis needs to say he wants to be traded. I think he needs to man up and just say he wants out and not force the Bucks to say, well, we've come to this decision. But I also think the Bucks know what they're doing. They're in this constant state of neither of us is going to break up with each other. The other person has to do it because it's not our problem. It's their problem right now.
It is interesting. Yeah. I mean, again, though, I've been like on this front this whole time. I'm like, I don't understand why Giannis wants to play this season so bad. Like, I get if you're healthy and all that, like you're a competitor, and I get all of the things, but it's like, unless you are saying, I don't want to be traded. I want to be, I want to be back with this team. I want to see if I can play with some of these guys, down at the end of the season. And you have that conversation, or I want to play because I want to see where I'm at. And if I'm healthy and like, I want to be traded. Like, I don't, but if I'm him and I'm like thinking about going somewhere else and being traded, I would not want to risk any sort of injury here at the end of the season. I would just be like, I'm working through rehab. I'm trying to get healthy. It sounds like what the Bucks put a protocol in place that, was like a return to play thing. And maybe he didn't check the boxes, and that's their prerogative. A team can do that. And they're like, well, we're not going to clear you to play because we just don't feel like you've done the things that we have in place. So this standoff feels really rough. And I think both sides are they're just trying to save face down the stretch here. And at some point, the dam's going to break and somebody's going to have to make a decision.
Well, and in a recent interview with Lori Nickel over at the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, she was talking a little bit with Giannis, saying, is there a path where you see yourself coming back to Milwaukee? He said 100%. Yeah. And then she replies with, well, what would you need to see? Everything about my decision is based on a winning culture. Like I talked with Joe Mazzulla. I said, you have so many opportunities to make excuses, but you didn't. The Celtics started this season slow. And he said, oh yeah, they're good players. And I said, no, it's about the mentality that you've instilled in your place. The same thing. That's why I love Spanolis. It's about the mentality that he's instilled with the Greek national team. So that is the Greek coach. Okay. That we have here. That's give everything that we have. We are here to bond together. We are here to figure it out, to win. No excuses. Move as a group, and you move as a unit. So I love that. It sure
maybe
sounds
that's his
like,
reason. No, maybe that's why he's frustrated, because he's like, if the culture isn't right in his mind. If it was about winning, it wouldn't matter if you weren't going to make the playoffs, if you were down in the dumps and you hadn't had success. If your best player is available in his mind, if it's about a winning culture, then he should be on the court and they should be going and trying to win games.
He has played 36 games this season.
Oh yeah. I get you can't blame other people when you haven't been available, right? It's
right.
You
can't say the culture is not proper when you are a massive part of the culture and you are not available during this.
Yeah. You can't move culture forward whenever you're not on the court and you're not available.
Well, and we only have about 2 minutes or so left here, but I wanted to ask, do you see any similarities in this and looking at the two quarterback situations, having gone through kind of both of those and seeing what happened at the end of maybe like Brett, and the fan base was very much 50-50, maybe more. Like Brett was defended by fans.
Yeah.
Giannis, you would have thought would be in the same scenario. And while there is still a few sprinkled fans there, it sure seems like everyone's just fed up with this at this point.
They just don't want drama. I think that's the thing. And and again, Brett Favre had all of his things, but I think like drama while he was playing, it wasn't like his brand of doing things. It was just like, I play or I don't want to play. Like, and so whenever he wanted to play, everyone was just like, oh, bring him back. That's what our guy wants. And so I think that was played out differently. I think everyone's just tired of the Giannis stuff, and a decision just needs to be made at some point here.
Well, we'll see what happens in the offseason in regards to Giannis Antetokounmpo returning back to the Milwaukee Bucks. I would love for him to stay. I don't want him to have this fiasco happening every year, though. So if this is what it is, I mean, Doc Rivers is gone. I mean, let's see you later. He'll be gone. Taylor Jenkins, these new rumors. I don't know. Does that get me excited? Sure, I guess. As long as it's not Doc Rivers, I will take Mitch Nellis. I'll take Mason Crosby running 8th grade girls basketball experience level to just get Doc Rivers out of the building at this point.
Let's do it. Hey, is that my new job? Let's go.
Yeah, you need another one. Molly's not. Oh, dude, imagine if you would have got a special teams coordinator job and then Molly tore her hamstring. That would have been brutal. I would have never heard the end of that. All right. Dusty Evely coming up next, Acme Packing Company. It is the Mason Crosby Show. We are live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Time for your fan weather report, brought to you by Milwaukee Area Napa Auto Care Association. 43 degrees right now in Hales Corner. A little bit of rain/snow kind of thing falling. Nothing sticking right now. Partly sunny, a high of 44 degrees. There's your fan weather report, brought to you by Milwaukee Area Napa Auto Care Association.
A Super Bowl champion.
The Green Bay Packers have won the Super Bowl.
The Packers' all-time leading scorer.
A game winner for Mason Crosby.
It's time for the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Nellis on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook and on the free Odyssey app.
Hour number 2, the Mason Crosby Show. Tommy Wirtz in for Mitch Thunder Nellis. Packers all-time leading scorer still here. One more hour left, and then where are you going again? You got like a real spring break now or something that pops up here? Second spring break out in Tennessee?
No second spring break. I don't know what's going on.
Okay, sounds mysterious now.
It is
Crosby.
mysterious.
Okay,
Yeah,
my bad.
I don't want to tell you all my plans. You
I got it. The cartel operation is under the table. I got it for sure, Mr. Crosby. Joining us now on the guest hotline, you can follow his work at Dusty Evely on Twitter or X. Acme Packing Company for all your greatest Packers news there is out there. Mr. Dusty Evely, how we doing, Dust?
Gentlemen, I'm doing good. Listen, man, it was 80 degrees a couple days ago, or 60 right now, or my body's all over the place. I'm talking football with you, gentlemen. What could be better, right?
Yeah, you're in Kentucky, right? Where in Kentucky?
Central Kentucky, Lexington area, a little bit south of Lexington.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. Well, you golf, Dusty? We had Andrew Bandstra on earlier saying that he was on the golf course in Madison. It seems like you could get some golf weather in if you're a golfer.
About once a year I go, and then
Nice.
I need to get out here more often, and then I go next year in this one.
Well, Crosby will give you some lessons if you ever need some, and he's in the Central Kentucky area then, because he tells everyone he's a 2 handicap. Whenever he tells us his score, he's an 11 handicap. I'm sure he can help you somewhere in between there.
I'll take it. I'll take whatever I can get.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you just pay for the round of golf, and I'll be there.
Oh, easy enough. Easy enough.
Yeah.
Done.
And maybe some bourbon, since you are in Kentucky.
Yeah,
brother, listen. I got a line on some. You let me know when you're up, and we'll hook you up.
Nice.
All right, easy enough. Dusty Evely joining us here on the Mason Crosby Show. And draft talk is so overrated at this point when you don't have a first round pick here, Dusty. But I think we should go down some of these positional groups here and just talk about targeting in the draft. Or even just for next season on how you're feeling about each one of them. But before that point, we got some news before the show started. Dexter Lawrence interested in being traded. Is there any possible way the Green Bay Packers could get something like this done? Because it sure seems like that would be just a dream scenario of getting another big guy on the interior. I know they, have Devontae Wyatt on the 5th-year option, and they just brought in Javon Hargrave. But Easton Butler at least saying that phone calls have been made from Green Bay. How much smoke do you think there is to the fire, or vice versa?
I mean, they're in every conversation, right? I mean, they've talked about that it'd be a perfect fit for what they want to do, for the kind of player he is, for where their window is. I've not even begun to look at what the compensation might look like, both from a draft pick perspective versus like a new deal, rework deal. That stuff always happens. So I have no idea what that would potentially look like. But just the player himself, that's one of those. Move money around. I think Gutekunst's already said it's what a 2 to 3 year window is kind of what they're shooting for here. This is the kind of player, given the need they have there at that position, given where the rest of the roster is. If you have a chance to get a guy like that, you do it, and then you just 5 years we're going to pay for this. Like this, we're going to take a hit down the line. But for now, if you feel like you're in a good spot, take a swing, man. Like I would love to see him in the green and gold. As everyone else, love to see him in green and gold. I doubt it happens, but it's fun to dream on for now.
I don't know. I mean, now that the Micah Parsons deal has happened in Green Bay, I won't put anything off the table for what Goody is willing to do, what he's willing to move off of, all of those things. You bring a guy like Dexter Lawrence in my opinion, they are, I mean, it moves them up the list of like real contenders for next year, especially in those first 4 games where you don't have Micah Parsons. You bring a guy like that in, you bring him with Hargraves, you still have Van Ness, you still have some pieces to get that defense going, and then you add Micah Parsons 4 weeks later. I think Dexter Lawrence is that type of player, and we saw with Seattle Seahawks. Defensive line, that front is what won that championship. Yep. Do you agree with that? I mean, you think if Dexter Lawrence is on this team, now we're just saying, well, it could be the best defense, at least in the NFC North, in the NFC, and like they're going to be competing for championships.
I think it's got to be, because I mean, you look at even the holes past that. I mean, we know interior defensive line is a hole. We know that. Beyond that, it's linebackers a little thin. Cornerback is thin. But as we saw early in the season with the healthy Micah Parsons, when everyone else was healthy, if you have a defensive line that can detonate, those other positions they don't need quite as much. There's been studies going both ways, whether cornerbacks are better or good pass rush is better, and there's a push-pull there, so you never really know which way that falls down on. But Nixon looked like a Pro Bowler earlier in the year when Parsons was there and everyone was rolling. So you get a line that can detonate like that. You keep those linebackers behind you clean. Isaiah McDuffie is a guy who has limitations in terms of movement skills and all of that. He knows where he's supposed to be, and if he can be kept clean, he's a solid tackler. If you get Isaiah McDuffie is kept clean, Edge Cooper's kept clean, you got the guys on the outside that have to cover for 2.1 seconds. Then you've got the safeties. We got the emerging Evan Williams. We saw what Bullard did there. We got X back there. The positions that are weak are not even like for me, there's the massive hole is defensive tackle. Everything else is just thin. You want to upgrade cornerback, but like it's thin, but I think they've got pieces in place there, kind of like what they've done I'm blanking on the Colts guy they brought in now for some reason. I like kind of where they're at. They can Franklin. Yes. Well, Desiree Franklin's the linebacker, and then they brought in, they signed that corner as well. I'm blanking on.
Oh, sorry. I thought, yeah.
No, Franklin's there. Yeah, you're right. And I think that makes him better as well. But the detonating the interior defensive line, I think that improves every single part of this defense and absolutely makes them, I think, out the gate, if they make this trade, it's top 5 defense, and I think you can go up from there. It's exactly what you want to do.
How concerned are you, Dusty Evely joining us here on the Mason Crosby Show? How concerned are you with the defensive line for the first month of the season, right? You're not going to have Micah Parsons. You have Lucas Van Ness, I guess, as your top edge rusher during this stretch for the Green Bay Packers. You're going to have great, you got Franklin and you have Edgerrin Cooper on that second level, but that first level, it's going to be a lot of throwing stuff together to see what works until they get the finished piece back in Micah Parsons.
Yeah. St. Juice is the other corner. That's the corner I was thinking of.
Yeah.
It is
Charge. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. My bad. It gets hairy. It looks hairy. At this, I'm kind of excited to see, just because there are these kind of, it's a weird group of pieces. You don't have like a huge big dude in the middle. You have what you're hoping for potentially. You take a guy like Nazir Stackhouse, the undrafted guy last year, in the hopes that maybe you can develop him into something, year 2, year 3. So he's a big dude, could not hold the point this past year. Maybe he takes a step. You like what Brinson took, but you've got these kind of like weird mismatched pieces in the middle. I have been curious since they hired Gannon. My whole question has been: is Gannon the guy he was in Philly, or is Gannon the guy that Rallis was basically running the show in Arizona? Which was, Philly was fairly straightforward, fairly static, and Arizona was just, it doesn't matter who we have, we're putting all of our guys in the best position to succeed. And it was weird 3 safety rotations, and there's moving pieces. Like, it was more disguises than I'd seen in most defenses. Like, just as weird and wacky as they got with the front, with the back end, all of that stuff. Do they just go into this going, listen, for the first 3-4 weeks, we've got these pieces. We're getting weird with it up front. We're slanting, we're twisting, we're slamming Edge Cooper off the edge through the middle, like we're weaponizing Edge Cooper in a way we didn't last year. Like, do we get weird with it until Parsons comes back? I don't know, but it feels like, if the room doesn't change dramatically, and that's even with a rookie in the mix, if they draft someone rookie, interior defensive lineman, if something doesn't change dramatically here, how weird do they try to get with that just to patch things together? So we've seen not Gannon necessarily. We've seen Gannon defenses do this, but how much of this was him versus how much Rallis in Arizona? I think that could tell a big part if they go in with this group. I think we could see some fun stuff in the middle of that line potentially.
Yeah, you're gonna have to have high football IQ guys if you're changing and doing a lot of those things, and then. But again, you have Edrin Cooper and Franklin, some established good linebacker, because you start doing a lot up front, those linebackers become really important in that, because if the front gets a little gap, unsound or different things because they're trying to just be disruptive, those guys are going to play a huge role. But I don't hate that idea. And I look back at the teams that I was on. Whenever every good and great pass rusher has a defensive lineman that is their kind of anchor, right? Yep. It's like, I feel like all our early teams, like when Clay Matthews got there, right? You got Colin Jenkins, you got BJ Raji, it was like Ryan Pickett maybe for a moment. Like you had these anchor guys that were going to not allow double teams on someone else, or they had to double team them because they were going to be disruptive up the middle. And then you get a lot of one-on-ones on the edge. So great defensive linemen make everybody else around them better. So I'm huge on go get Dexter Lawrence at, honestly, not any cost, but like if it's a high price, but it works.
Extend yourself. Be willing to extend yourself. Yeah,
you got to extend it here. Yeah, this in my mind, I'm like, we're in a 2-3 year window here with this Packers team before like that bill comes up in a sense. Yep. Before you're like, all right, now we got to go back and we got to rely on draft guys and see where we're at. But these next couple of years, they can kind of chase that and see what happens.
100%.
Dusty, I wanted to go through some other areas. I don't want to get into too much of draft prospect specific stuff here, but when you think about adding something on the offensive side, it's been a lot of defensive conversation. That's where free agency has come into play for Green Bay, most of this as well. A lot of not talking about the offense during this. Do you think that this Packers team is pretty shored up on the offensive side of the ball? I mean, they have their quarterback, the wide receiver room. It seems like there's more likely to be an absent guy, someone gets sent off, traded, than anyone getting brought in. How confident are you in Green Bay's offense that really they're not going to run it back with the same group this offseason?
First of all, I'm firmly on board with I don't want to trade any of these wide receivers right now. For the reason, unless it brings back Dexter Lawrence, I don't want to trade any of those guys. I think if you're looking at preferred starters down the offensive line, down the offensive side in general, the starters are fine. It gets real thin after that at a lot of positions. Like tight end, I don't know if Kraft is going to start the season. I'm not sure how that's looking. Even if we assume Kraft is starting the season, he's 100% from the get-go. Behind him is Luke Musgrave, who I thought showed some stuff down the stretch. He's never going to be a blocking tight end.
He falls every time, Dusty.
Listen,
come on.
I have a clip twice at the end of last year. 2 times he caught the ball, turned upfield, didn't fall down. He's getting better. He's getting better,
wow.
Tommy.
He has 18 yards a rack last season.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like I thought he was better down the stretch last year when he got more playing time. I still don't think that's a guy you want to rely on, especially if you want to do some blocking stuff. I really like what Josh Wiley brought, but he was fairly limited as well. They had him as fullback, they had him in the H-back stuff. He's 6'8" and pretty gangly and didn't always know his blocking assignments. And maybe he gets better there in year 2. But to me, he strikes me as like a nice depth piece, but not a lot more than that. So you basically have Tucker Kraft if he's back week 1. And then some guys you don't really trust and don't move the needle too much. So tight end, you want to see even preferred starters, offensive line, like Jordan Morgan. I really like Jordan Morgan. I think he's going to be fine at left tackle. I think he is at least as good as Rasheed Walker from week 1, but I think he's better. I think we've already kind of seen that. Aaron Banks, I think, got better as the season went on when he got up further away from that injury. I don't think he's great. I think he can be fine. Sean Ryan, I really like to bring him back. Belton, and then Tom. Like those starters, if Tom's back, those starters are good. And then you get past that, and it's Kennard can fill in if they got away from the 6-0 line stuff. So he's kind of like, swing tackle, whatever. Past that offensive line gets real thin. And then running back, kind of the same way. You hope Marshawn Lloyd is healthy. Jacobs kind of took a beating down the stretch. Where's he at in his career? Chris Brooks I really like, but he's not a guy you want to give more than 5 carries to in a game. So I think offensively, you look at it, those top line, if you go through our lads or something and just look at the first line of the depth chart, looks good. You get past that, tight end, offensive line, even running back to a certain extent, all of those, like it's not alarm bells going off. But we've seen offensive linemen go down. They need to do something with offensive linemen, and I think they need to do something with tight end. So it's shaky. It's not super scary, but it is something I think they need to look at this offseason.
Do you think it's a negative, or like say you have a couple pieces, some depth spots at offensive line? Because I saw that's kind of this thing that was released, a percentage of snaps that all the offensive lines in the NFL have played. And I want to say the Packers were down like 25th or something like that with this current lineup. Like that, these guys together have collectively not played many snaps at all as a unit. So, and all, some players that have been on this line, but they haven't played together.
Yeah.
So they're going to have a lot of work this offseason through training camp of getting that cohesiveness, making sure that they're solid and good. And like you said, the worry is they're learning each other. As soon as one of those, now you're putting in a new guy to fill that spot. I'm going to sidetrack for a sec. My guy Lucas Patrick just signed to New York Giants, and I was so hopeful that they Packers might kick the tires and bring him back and have him finish off his career, because I think this team there in Green Bay needs that Swiss Army knife type player and a veteran, like a veteran type player. They need somebody that can play both guards and center if need be, and you can fit them in wherever you need. And they have that ability to go out there and do that. Do you think there are any guys available like that? Like kind of out in the free agency space here in the next month or two?
I am not sure. I've been so tied into kind of interior defensive line, interior offensive line, or even just those movable pieces. I'm not sure. I will say, before we get too far away from that, I got a good friend of mine that I watch every Packers games with, owns a Lucas Patrick jersey because that's one of his all-time favorite players. He kind of scrapping him, so he's the only guy I know with Lucas Patrick jersey. So I don't know where he's at.
One too. So,
do you have one? Yeah. Okay. I know two guys with Lucas Patrick.
There you go.
I mean, you look at any of I don't know, Jack Conklin is out there. You potentially bring him in. You're looking older at that point, which I kind of like. I like that move for Kennard. If there's a swing like that where it's 7th round pick, which they did last year, you brought in Kennard. He did really good work for you. As far as the names, there are dudes out there I think you could go for that, after the draft, and it's not all the comp pick stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
You could take a swing at if you want to. He's played a couple positions and he was only good 1 year, but someone like Mekhi Becton, with the Packers trying to get bigger on the offensive line, where they got Belton out there and everything like that. We saw Becton was a tackle, and he does best work at guard with Philly. If they brought him in as listen, we know you have positional versatility in terms of you were not a good tackle, but you know how to play tackle. You've done that before, but you're really good as a mauling guard. If the bank stuff doesn't work and okay, I want to take a swing on Becton, who's just a massive human, maybe you take a swing like that. There's guys out there that if I saw a signing for one of those guys, but okay, cool. Yeah, I'd be down with that. Just anything to shore that up. But I think there are names out there, guys you could bring in to shore some of that stuff. Josh Nijman's out there. He's only 30 years old. Bring Josh back. I don't know. There are dudes out there I'd be happy with.
Dusty, it's been a quiet offseason for Jordan Love. Is that a good thing?
Sure. Listen, he's a new dad, right? Or he's going to be a new dad. Listen, you're prepping the house, you're getting everything ready. We went through so many off seasons where it was just all the drama around quarterback or around coach or around whatever, that a quiet off season for the quarterback, that seems fine. He seems like a relatively quiet dude. I think that's fine.
Yeah, he's going to show up to off season, and you're not going to have to wonder if he's in a darkness retreat or if he's going to what he's going to do. I mean, I love my guy Aaron, but there were a few years there towards the end where it's oh man, when are we going to see this guy?
Wasn't is he going to come back and play football? It's is he alive?
Are we just going to see him? Yeah, kind of.
Has he been replaced with someone else? I don't know.
Yeah,
is this a clone of Aaron Rodgers?
What did you think of Jordan Love's opening day pitch that he threw out? What did you see that? I
didn't see it. So I'm a Tigers fan. I've been watching a bunch of Tigers games. I try to watch Brewers game when I can. I forgot he did the first pitch. I knew he was going to do it, and then I didn't look it up. I have no idea. How did it look? Did he do a full drop back? Did you play action off the mound?
I don't know. Tommy, what's your take on it? I wasn't overly impressed with the the throw there.
It amazes me how little people know how to throw a baseball properly. It is. I mean, I'm not saying that I should have made the bigs, but I played all the way growing up, and I know the motion of how to throw a baseball. And there's so many athletes where it's like 50 Cent taught them how to do it.
He threw it like a football. He held it like this.
Yeah.
And like, no, that's all we know. Dusty Evely joining us on the Mason Crosby Show. You can find him Acme Packing Company. I want to ask you. So we talked about this a couple times, especially last week. Micah Parsons out first 4 games. Let's just say 4, just for numbers' sake. What do you think is acceptable for those first 4 games? And who kind of holds the pressure of having this team have success without Micah Parsons on the field?
Oh man, without knowing who they're playing, it's tough. I will say, I mean, anytime you miss someone that big for that stretch, my go-to is always 500. You go 2-2, you can catch up down the stretch, you're fine. Now, if that's all divisional games, that's different. It's not all going to be divisional games. That's not the way they set this stuff up. But typically, I say if you go 500, now you really like to go. You'd like to go undefeated. 3-1, depending on the opponent, would be good. But I always say, tread water. Can you be 500 until this guy gets back, and then you're really back to 100%? In terms of who you want to step up in that time, I mean, can Hargrave do anything? Can you get we're year 3 of Edge Cooper at this point. He went from kind of weaponized, not knowing fully the defense in year 1 to last year. It was scaled back a little bit in terms of how he was used. I thought he was a better linebacker, but the explosiveness plays was not there. Can you weaponize him? Can you get him some free rush opportunities, some twists up the middle? To me, that would be based on who you have. You want to get Xavier McKinney or Evan Williams, 1 free rush off the edge a game if you can, and you want to try to spring Edge Cooper up the middle once or twice a game with some of those double-A gap mugs and twists and all that stuff. But to me, on defense, those are the dudes. Now, you'd hope, again, Stackhouse can maybe do something. Brinson, I thought, showed some flashes down the stretch. Guys like Baron Sorrell, if Sorrell can come in, I know he's been working out and just hanging out, I guess, with Micah. If you can get Baron Sorrell, even maybe Colin Oliver, he feels a little more limited. But if Sorrell can come in and be listen, he's at least a functional pass rusher, I think that helps a lot. But if you're looking at you want your stars need to step up. Stars need to be stars. Year 3 of Edge Cooper, that's the guy, because we've seen what he can do. And if you want to weaponize him, and if you want to lean into that a little more those first 4 weeks, I think you could see some damage done on that side.
Dusty Evely, Acme Packing Company. What you got working on in the works here, Dusty, that people can check out?
Oh man, I'm working on, I've got this call sheet series where I'm reviewing past stuff that is done, how the Packers performed by down and distance, all that stuff the previous year. And so I'm on 3rd and long now. So look at how many they had per game, how many calls they had per game, how that stacked up against other groups, what their success rate, explosive rate was, and then pick, okay, they had, I think 6 plays on 3rd and long. What was most effective? What worked? What didn't? Diagram everything up, got some clips, all that. So
how did inside zone work on 3rd and short? Was that get glowing reviews out of you?
I'm not, you know what? I think their 3rd and short isn't that bad. I think their 3rd and short inside zone is not that bad. I'll let you know when I get there. Right now, their 3rd and long offense was dynamite. I can tell you that. But 3rd and short, I got to look at. I'll let you know, Tommy. I'll let you know.
All right. We'll circle back on that one. Dusty, thank you so much for popping on, man. Have a good one.
Appreciate you, gentlemen. Thank you.
Appreciate it. There he is, Dusty Evely, Acme Packing Company, joining us on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call. That's all. Big week, as Mason Crosby will not be here for Masters Week. Are you playing? Are you playing in Augusta? Is that the secret?
Yeah. Actually, I'm sitting right now at Amen Corner, just waiting to get my time. No, but I'm watching. Scotty's on the course. He's on the 10th hole right now, just putting, getting the feel of things. They got 14 people on this one hole. It's kind of wild, but gosh, this might be the best week in the history of sports.
Man, I
cannot wait.
How is the Molly injury gonna interrupt a nap on Friday or Saturday at hole 8?
Well, I think the plan is for her to have surgery on Friday, so I'll be locked in while she's recovering. So I mean that won't be an issue. Saturday is going to be tough. Saturday and Sunday will be a little bit tougher, but we'll find some time. She's just going to be, legs up, and we'll hit the easy button, and you'll let these kids hang out.
It's that easy. It's that easy. It is the Mason Crosby Show. We are live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Let's talk about it on the other side.
Yes.
The Mason Crosby Show, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Tommy Wirtz in for Mitch Thunder Nellis, Packers all-time leading scorer here as well. Getting ready for the biggest golf week of the year, Masters week. I'm excited about it. I love watching just the majors during the year.
I know Mitch was so surprised at how much you knew about it.
Yeah, I think you knew that I keep an eye on it.
I know you're dialed in.
I'm more of a golf fan than I am a hockey fan.
Oh, well, that's an interesting. Yeah, I figured you'd be into hockey. You're not into hockey.
No, I just like watching the fights. That's about all I got out of it. But there will be no Tiger. There will be no Phil. However, still pretty loaded class. We went over the betting odds last week where we had, I believe Scotty was the favorite. Alberg was up there. John Rahm was up there. What's something that you're excited about with this week? Just talking Masters, at least.
I obviously I'm a huge Scotty Scheffler fan. Want to see him have a better Thursday than he's had kind of to start this season here. Just see if he can come out and just kind of disrupt the field again and just dominate. And then it's just from a player perspective, I would love to see like a Jordan Spieth kind of get back into something and find his form back here at Augusta. But also from a course and just the energy, it's just like this. It's a calming week for me, and I need that right now. I just need to see them, like the introduction of the course and the tournament as you go down Magnolia Lane for the first time, and just the green grass everywhere, the rolling hills. It just kind of brings peace to my heart, and that's something that I definitely look forward to every year whenever the Masters comes calling.
Well, coverage starts on Tuesday. They got Tuesday at the Masters. You can watch that on ESPN. Thursday, there's some featured holes as well on ESPN. I don't think they get like the full coverage until Friday, right? Doesn't Augusta do it with their app as well that you can watch a lot of it?
Yeah, they restrict more than any other tournament for sure. So like live coverage usually doesn't start till about 1:00, maybe 2:00 every day. But I do think there are some avenues where you can watch featured groups and featured holes and things like that. So I do think the content has increased for the Masters, and I'm going to try to watch as much as possible throughout the whole week. I'll have that thing, streaming at some, in some form or fashion, and watching every moment I possibly can. Because once again, it's like you just know the holes so well. U.S. Open, PGA, the Open Championship there or across the pond, they always change courses, but this one stays the same. So it's just like the holes, every single one of them, hole by hole. The nuances, the greens, every little piece of this course from just years of experience and time watching this thing. So it's so familiar and it's a comfort. And I think that's honestly like what a lot of people like. I remember watching it with my dad when I was a kid, and like Nolan talking about how we've watched so many of these together and how he has hopes that maybe someday we'll go and watch the tournament live together. Like those are the types of things. And these are those sporting events that just kind of have that nuance and that history and that nostalgia that you can hold on to. It's like a baseball, like a ballpark, go into an iconic ballpark or go into Lambeau Field. There's just something really special about it.
Well, and going from something that never changes to something we've probably never seen, at least video evidence proof. Did you see Joe Adele over the weekend robbing 3 homers in one game?
No balls in one strike. There's a drive out to right from Raleigh. Adele's back near the wall. He leaps and he caught it. Joe Adele. There's a drive to right. Adele is back. He's at the wall. He leaps up. He got another one. Joe Adele, what a night.
Lead.
Now here's Crawford with a fly ball to right toward the corner. It's Joe Adele again near the foul pole. Leaping up. Did he catch it again? He fell into the crowd, so it's a home run. They called him out. He did it again.
I don't know why. So I knew that rule as well, where it's like you go over the wall, it still counts as a homer. But yet they called him out, And then everyone's like, oh, he robbed 3 homers in a game. And now there's no real statistical category of robbing home runs, but it was still awesome to see. And I think they were like, dude, we can't take away the third one. And it was a 1-0 game at the entire time. He robbed all of them.
And what an iconic picture. Did you see the back shot? Like somebody got that picture just with his name. Yeah. I mean, like, obviously, like that can't have happened. Like, do they have stats on that? Like,
no, I don't. I think it's the first time it's ever happened.
I mean,
I think.
Unbelievable. Yeah. And to win 1-0. Like, I mean, he literally just saved that whole game for them. So yeah, what a cool moment. And again, the iconic picture just says it all with him in the crowd, holding the glove up. And in my mind, I'm like, the wall's lower there. Like if he kind of got his glove on it before he went into there, I'm like, I'm calling that out all day. Like, just stay with that.
Well,
I don't care. I don't care about the rules.
We're back to baseball dumb rules, though. Like, of course,
there's dumb rules everywhere.
Well, I mean, if you catch the ball inbounds, but your feet don't come down within the white lines in football, like you're out of bounds, right?
Yeah.
It's the same
they
idea.
Used to have a dumb rule, though, right?
Oh, the force out.
The force out, like where we're putting that into refs' hands, like. Would he have come down had he not been pushed?
When did that change? That was like recent enough, like within the last 15 years.
Yeah,
they took that away?
I was playing still. Yeah, whenever the old rule was there, so I think it was 2008 or 9.
Yeah, yeah. But baseball is so iconic with dumb rules. So I think that it's fun to keep the dumb rules in baseball. But that with Joe Adell. Anything? Were you ever on the field for a record being broken? Like, I guess just Matt Flynn maybe comes to mind, and Aaron Rodgers both having that record.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously I saw so many of those with Aaron at quarterback, and obviously with Favre. I think he his longevity record was set at that time, and he had some iconic moments his last year there in Green Bay. I'm trying to think of any other kind of big ones.
Do you have on the top of your head, like, I didn't prep you for this, so I don't blame you, but just like an iconic performances you can remember when you were on the field?
Well, unfortunately, I witnessed some against us, like Phil Dawson kicked the long, or no, was it Akers? No, I think it was David Akers when he was at the Niners. He kicked the. Was it? I think it was David Akers.
The longest field goal in Lambeau at the time.
Longest field goal in record. Yeah, in Lambeau, which was disappointing to see that one go.
You don't have that one.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, come on, man.
Well, and I'm sure, like, didn't Larry Fitz have an amazing, like, all time? I mean, obviously he has like the all time memorable parts of the performance, but I feel like one of those was record breaking in the playoffs against you guys. I just can't remember anything like
was
this.
That whenever he was in the Cardinals, like when we were in Arizona?
Yeah, the one where like the dumbest game ever was played, where you guys wouldn't play defense the entire game, and then he on the first play of overtime takes it to the 4-yard line or wherever it was. I feel like that was all time at some point, but I didn't know if Calvin Johnson went for 300 on your guy's head, or I know the Matt Flynn game, you were obviously there, and that feels like, as far as personal accomplishment, I don't know if there was any bigger achievement that you saw on a football field.
Yeah, that one was pretty special, especially with the season that we had. And it's like, all right, we're resting our guys. And then Matt Flynn comes in and throws 6 touchdown passes. You're like, well, that's a pretty good stat to throw up there and go and beat those measly Detroit Lions at the time.
Well, I guess Aaron threw 6.5 also against the Bears, right? That was the one you were there for.
True. Yes. Again, like, I almost take some of that for granted, just like playing with Aaron for so long. It's like, every record in the book that, and you just kind of, some of them are longevity, like over time, but then he also has the fewest interceptions per, touchdown, all these things. And it's just, you almost got used to seeing a new record being broken, like pass yards or touchdowns or, whatever, completions. I didn't see that. That wasn't that was Jordan Love, wasn't it? The most completions in a row. Didn't that happen this year?
Yeah, that was something. What was it, like 15 or something? Wasn't it to like start a game or something too? It was a really weird record. I mean, that's like a stretch, right? I mean, I guess
I always hated seeing records broken against us, and like I feel like those like stick on you a little bit more than like, whenever you're playing in your team, like you're excited about those, but you're like, all right, on to the next thing. But when somebody breaks a record against you, you're just like, it kind of like it sticks different, right? It just hits you a little bit more because it's like, okay, well, now they're always going to have that in this facility unless we break that at some point.
It is the Mason Crosby Show. Tommy Wirtz in for Mitch Thunder Nellis. He'll be back tomorrow. Mason Crosby out for the week after this, right? Are you back next Monday?
It's
a little bit more than that. I don't know.
I think following Tuesday is the plan. My mom has a charity event, but we're going to kind of have to see what Molly's surgery is if I'm doing as much moving around after this. So we're about she's like 6 to 8 weeks non-weight bearing. So no driving, all that. So dad of the year coming. I'm jumping in. I feel like, I try to do all that anyways, but when mom's down, it's all hands on deck.
And national championship tonight, you got any any rooting interest, anything else from that game?
It's an intriguing one.
The best fun fact that comes from this game is from the UConn side, and that is Alex Caravan with the opportunity to be the only player that hasn't gone to UCLA to win 3 national titles.
That's pretty interesting. Yeah.
But I don't know if I find myself rooting for either of these teams during this. I kind of want a tie to happen at some point.
I can't root for Michigan, so I guess I'm rooting for UConn. Like, I'm rooting for a good game. I think when I have no skin in the game, I want to see something crazy happen at the end. Buzzer beater or some sort of wild finish where it's memorable, and I don't really care who wins it.
All right, we'll see what happens for it. I'm going to go Michigan. I think Michigan wins 7.
They're definitely the better team.
85-70. I think they're going to. Well, let me look at the betting odds actually over a courtesy of the Potawatomi.
Do you think
Sports
Hurley,
book.
like their UConn? Do you think he should have had something like some ramifications for what happened in that Duke game? Do you think there's?
I don't know. It came out that he's like kind of friends with the guy, and he was messing with them. Maybe
he seems to have a good rapport with like refs during the game. Like he was laughing and smiling. Like it doesn't seem like he's like that guy towards refs. So I was just wondering what your take was. Like I'm like I don't think he should have, but he maybe crossed a little bit of a line.
Michigan 6.5 point favorites in the over/under set at 145. I'm going to take the over, and I'm going to take Michigan on that. I think Michigan wins by 10, and I think it's like 85-75.
Really?
Yeah, I think there'll be.
Do you
some
even
scoring.
think with like their main guy out, like if he's out,
I'm not worried about it. Michigan's put up over 90 every single game.
That Mara is unbelievable.
He's just a cheat code. It's not fair.
It's ridiculous.
In college, it's not fair to have a guy who's 7'3" or higher
and can play like that. Yeah,
right?
I mean, guy moves. He's fluid. Like he's a good player.
Well, we'll see what happens. Dusty May going for his first championship with the Michigan Wolverines. UConn 17-1 over their last 18 games in the tournament, looking for their 3rd national title in 4 years. On the other side, let's do some extra points. How about it?
Let's do it.
It is the Mason Crosby Show. Tommy Wirtz in for Mitch Thunder Nellis from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
What's on Mason Crosby's mind today?
Now I'm thinking.
It's time for Extra Points, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Nellis.
Tell me what's on your mind.
On the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Well, thanks for joining this beautiful Monday. It was a great weekend with Easter. Anyone that celebrated, hope it went well. Hope everyone just had a great weekend. Thanks for listening to the Mason Crosby Show. You know, I'm watching this Masters press coverage. Chris Gotterup's up. He's a guy that we should watch out for. If you were a betting man, Tommy, who are you betting to win this year's Masters?
Scotty. That's with my heart, not my head, though.
I mean, I think your head and your heart can be aligned.
Yeah,
with,
I mean, what am I going
for Scotty?
I'm actually worried Jon Rahm's going to win. I do think he's playing pretty good golf right now as well. So I tend to find myself just rooting for the Americans, right? Like, as long as an American wins it, like, awesome, cool. That's what, like, my dad kind of told me to do growing up. Like, oh, it's cool to root for the American, or that during these big tournament weekends. But now I'm just all in on Scotty Scheffler being one of my favorite athletes just to pay attention to at all. So I root for Scotty every week. But if Bryson wins, I think I'd be okay. I would be all right if we saw something out of a guy that hasn't won a major yet this year or ever. I was trying to be a Spieth guy. I've fallen off the Spieth train. And now I just tend to root for the Americans every time. But Scotty, for sure, is the guy I want to see win the most.
Yeah, I was trying to look at like the betting odds for all of those. Let's see, Oberg. Let's see where he's at. I like Oberg. I wouldn't mind if he got a win. I don't
like right now. The winner being Scotty Scheffler. Yeah, plus 550. Bryson is at plus 1,000. Jon Rahm at plus 1,000.
Okay.
Rory at plus 1,200, and then Oberg at plus 1,400. Those are your top five.
All right.
It's not going to be Rory. Rory's never winning a Masters ever again. Like, that was it. So. That was a one-time thing.
You think he's a one and done?
Yeah, he that's all he had to do. He's never going to get up quite the same for this weekend. He finally conquered those demons. Like, it's over for Rory on Masters week. He might as well take the week off for the rest of his career.
Do you have any like moments or things that you think of when you think of
Phil Mickelson?
Augusta and the Masters?
Phil Mickelson hitting the shot from the woods is the very first one.
Yeah,
that's
on 13.
Yeah, that was insane. That everyone was like, he just screwed himself. Like, good luck, better luck next year, Phil. And then he hits the shot. 100% is my first thought. That's the first thing I think of in the Masters. Or Tiger winning it a few years later.
Obviously, Tiger's iconic chip on 16 is like, it's hard to overcome and like say that's not one of the the biggest moments. But I also think like Bubba Watson's from hole 10. I think it was in the playoff. It was in the playoff, and he bent that thing around.
Oh, maybe it was Bubba. He's the lefty too, right?
Yeah.
It was Bubba, not Phil Mickelson.
Oh,
right?
Mickelson had one though on 13, and he was like kind of in the trees and hit an amazing shot. But you're probably thinking of the Bubba Watson.
I think that's what I meant. They have the same hair, lefty going on thing. Yeah, I think it was Bubba. Right, my bad. But I mean, Tiger winning in 19? Like, that one was also crazy as well.
That was pretty iconic. And I'm not trying to, do the I'm cool because I played there, but I did play Augusta one time, and I went and I looked at where Bubba Watson hit that shot from on hole 10, and it was just like, how in the world could anyone like get this ball to bend and then to stay on the green like that? It was unbelievable where he was aiming. He's like a 90-degree angle, and the ball went and he stuck it on the green. So that's what I love about Augusta too, is the shot shaping, the amazing shots that we just can remember year in and year out. And I can't wait for the first one to happen here come Thursday into the weekend. What a great week of sports we have coming up. National championship tonight, Masters week. Let's kick this thing off really, really well tonight and have an awesome rest of your week. Thanks for holding it down, Tommy.
Yeah, and Brewers baseball will be on coverage for the leadoff show today at 4:30 as we get you ready for a 5:40 first pitch in Boston. Brandon Woodruff versus Brian Bayo tonight. Mace, have a good week, boss.
All right, take care, buddy.
There it is, the Mason Crosby Show. We are live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer coming up next.
Later.
I was